No, I don't think they will. But if they want their percentages to go up, if you can clear the cap space, you want to clear the cap space regardless. If I can get a max player or not, because even if I can't get a max player, I can get another player. I can get another 2 players. So, yes, right now Los Angeles is hot. There are going to be so many guys. You have so many associations in the league. I mean, you know guys will go to LA. Man, they would go there when they were losing. Now it's time. They're just getting ready to get turned around. Worst record in basketball last 6 years. Now LeBron and Anthony Davis. There are so many people going to be calling the Lakers. So I don't think it's essential that they get that third guy. But if you can add Kyrie Irving, if you can add, especially another point guard, Kemba, if you can add them to the Lakers, I mean, they become, to me, the proverbial favorite as far as who's going to win the NBA. And it sets you up not only for 1 year, but you might be able to get multiple titles if you add that third star.
And the way they could do this, it is very complicated. I consider myself a bit of an amateur capologist, and I had to read this article 4
I called
times.
Nick last night, and he started talking, and I was like, listen. Okay, man, that's a little too complicated. He said, yeah, I know. I felt the same way. See, I read it 10 times. Yeah. I was like, Nick, you read it 10 times?
Man, it involves like buying second-round picks and cap holds and the over-the-cap rule, 125%. Don't worry about that. Just know it could happen. They could clear up the maximum cap space. If you can get Kyrie Irving, you do it. If you can get Kemba Walker, it's less of an instantaneous thing, but you do it. And obviously, if you can get Kawhi Leonard, you clearly do it, and you just say, we'll figure out, we'll let Alex Caruso and friends play guard for us, and it won't matter. There is a very close facsimile to this in NBA history. The 2011 Miami Heat. Now, I know they didn't win the title, and they didn't win the title because the moment became too big for LeBron in the finals. But do you know who was the 4th leading scorer on that Heat team? It was Udonis Haslem. It was at 8 points per game. Their point guard that year was a ancient Mike Bibby and a young, not ready yet Mario Chalmers. They were rotating in just center off the street because they didn't have the cap flexibility. They had spent all their money on 3 guys, and they had to basically go with young, unproven guys, vet minimum guys, and guys who had already been on the roster. The Lakers would be in an even worse position in this regard. They will have no one left on the roster. In order to do this, they will have LeBron and Kyle Kuzma on the roster, Anthony Davis, max free agent X, and that is their team. To fill out their other 9 remaining roster spots, you have 1 taxpayer mid-level exception of about $5 million, and then your next, every other guy is minimum, is a veteran minimum contract or a second-round pick on a rookie minimum contract. So you would be the most top-heavy team we have seen, and you would have the least depth of any team in the league. Now, I would do it because I think they're the title favorites with LeBron and Anthony Davis. If you had LeBron and Anthony Davis, if you have the best player, the 7th best player, and call Kyrie Irving the 11th best player, now, I mean, you have so much overwhelming talent, similar to what you had that first year in Miami. But if they don't get it done, Sarah, I think the alternative is a good option as well, which is add some depth, add some defense, add some three-point shooting via 3 or 4 players in that $28-ish to $30 million you'll have to spend.
Would it give you any hesitation, though, seeing the example of this most recent finals of Golden State, how injuries affected them, Toronto having a true superstar in Kawhi, but depth was what got them to win that title? Would that give you concerns if you are the Los Angeles Lakers, not having that depth if you sign another max free agent?
Based on the way the league is, and the only way you can put these 3 stars together, Nick said, you're not going to have a whole bunch left. So that's something you have to bake into. If I go for max salary guys, it's going to be hard for me to build my bench. The way Golden State did it, they were very, very fortunate that they had guys under existing contracts so they could keep extending them. And then when they added Kevin Durant, you can't do that anymore. So there's no team going to be in that type of position. And I don't believe you need 3 stars anymore. The league is getting ready to recalibrate. Kevin Durant's getting ready to leave. So what was needed before, I don't believe we'll go back to what we thought before. The best player on the court and either an all-star, he don't have to be a superstar. They will have the ability to be able to dominate and win a championship.
And I believe this year, with everything that happened with Golden State, if you replace Steph Curry with LeBron James, the Warriors win anyway. And so unless you are worried that LeBron's going to get hurt again, if LeBron gets hurt again, then a lot of this falls apart. The pick swaps you're giving up later fall apart.
You off the show.
Okay, yeah. There's a lot of things that are bad if LeBron gets hurt again. But unless we're going to expect, you can look at LeBron's injury as he went 15 years without ever being hurt, and then he got hurt. Is that a sign of things to come? Or you can look at it as the guy went to the finals 8 straight years. We saw the guys who had been to the finals 3 to 4 or 5 straight years, the type of injuries they dealt with. He tore his groin. It's a one-off. He now has time to recuperate. We'll get back to being relatively indestructible. If you believe that, Anthony Davis has proven over the last 3 years he's gotten over the injury bug. Then I don't think, listen, injuries can happen to anybody. I don't think because of fear of injury you don't sign a Kyrie Irving. With all that said, I would rather have the depth than Jimmy Butler. I would rather have the depth than Chris Middleton. I'd rather have the depth than Al Horford. Like, if you are going to use all of your cap space on one guy, it's got to be a superstar-ish level player, not an all-star-ish level player.
And you should think that the LeBron injury is a one-off based on how it happened, slipped on the court, strained his groin, tore his groin, and I think that we'll be back seeing the LeBron that we have seen before. I think that is the way that we should predict him going forward. If it was his back, if it was a knee, if it was an ankle or something that was chronic, then I would say, we should watch out.
And because we saw him come back from the injury. And while he was not at his right playing weight and his defensive effort was the lowest of his career, he was 27, 8, and 10 post-injury. So we know it's not an injury that took him into the offseason where we haven't seen him play since the injury.
And even post-injury, we should be looking for better things because that LeBron we saw sitting there with the smoked-out hair, that body was not in number 23 uniform at the end of the season.
That's why he didn't have the cape on.
He wanted to show everyone.
Sure
he wanted Chris Carter to know he's back to his regular playing weight.
Oh, no, LeBron would take his shirt off now. I've seen a lot of NBA practices. LeBron ain't got no shirt on.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.